Okay, so I'm gonna talk about Idaho for about 10 minutes. So
Kill
the
confirmed.
first thing I think of Idaho
Eliminate all hostiles in
is
the area.
um,
Grab the tag.
the classic joke, which is Idaho, no Idaho. And then I think of the white supremacists problem and the general conservative vibe of Idaho, and I think about that, and then what happens is I think about how people should like
Friendly
the
Houston
video right
online.
away and subscribe, and then I think about how um, Idaho was probably the first state. It was probably oh shit I died. Idaho was probably the first state that I really fell in love with. Before Idaho, it was a hodgepodge of confusion and delusion within myself, and then I found out about Idaho, and then I thought to myself, wow, this is really a state that I can look to as a role
Friendly
model for
VTOL
myself
inbound.
and for those around me. My favorite thing about Idaho is Idaho doesn't just help you. Idaho makes sure that you're going to be strong enough to help yourself later on.
Friendly
Uh, the
UAV
the
online.
the best thing about Idaho is the diversity. There's so much diversity in Idaho. They call it the melting pot. They call it. They go, where's when people. So if you're a visitor, if you're a foreigner, if you haven't been to America, you'll wonder to yourself. You wonder what's the when people are referring to the melting pot in quotes. The melting pot. Oh, come to the melting pot. When people are talking like that, what are they speaking in reference to? What are they talking about? I'll tell you exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about Idaho. Idaho is the melting pot. Idaho, death. Idaho is. Let's try this. Actually, real quick. Gotta. Let's see. Let's see how that goes. Let's see if that fixes things. Because I was tired of. I would rewatch my videos and then it would go, oh, what's going on? And then I would look and it would be like, oh, the audio from the game is way louder than the audio of my recording. Are there only 2 minutes left? It's hardly enough time to talk about all the things I wanted to say about Idaho. So the thing about Idaho, oh shit, I died. The thing about Idaho that really makes me think differently is Idaho. It has to do with the color green. It has this green essence to it. It screams out creativity. And you can fact check this on every single map. So on maps, they'll do different colors for states. They'll do blue, orange, green. They just want to make sure that the colors don't like repeat. So you want to make sure that a green state isn't touching a red state. You get the idea on those multicolored maps. If you've ever seen a map, then then you know what I'm talking about. And uh, anyway, it's always every single time they do a map of the United States, they always make sure to make Idaho green. And the reason they do this is because of the essence of the state. They want to stay true to it. So map makers notoriously are way into the idea of being true to they want to be true to the essence of a map. And what is the essence of a map? The essence of a map is it's something between location, because they want to give you the location. They want to give you an accurate geographic model to help you on your travels and to help you get to where you want to go. But furthermore, they want to give you the essence of the location. They want you to understand what Idaho is. What does it mean to be in Idaho? And you're not going to get that unless you see that it's green. It's a green state. Hey, look, we lost. Of course, it wasn't a we. It was a me. I lost. My team lost. Right now, I'm listening to the Beatles. I'm not listening to the game. I'm not listening to my voice. I think that listening to music is creating certain flow vibrations that are assisting me to play better. Look, 5 kills, 5 deaths. They don't just make those kind of stats up. Those are hard stats to earn. Um, I'm wondering if the score was not higher than 40 to 42, and I only said that because maybe when I entered the game, it was 0-0 for me. No, that's a stupid idea. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Well, back to Idaho. Idaho is shaped kind of like a, what is it shaped like? It's shaped almost like a weird well, it's wide at the base and then it's skinny at the end. There's it's just kind of triangular almost. If you want to get really precise, the closest shape that I would compare it to, it would have to be a triangle because it certainly does. It's way wider at the base than it is at the top. At the top, it's like thin, and at the base, it's like wide. So it's one of those classic situations as far as states goes, where it's a triangle state. Okay, there's a number of triangle states. Nevada is one. New Mexico is one. Colorado is one. These are triangular shaped states. Um, and Idaho is no exception. Idaho happens to also be a triangular state. Now, when I talk about triangular states, you may be wondering to yourself, you may be thinking, what kind of state is my state? Okay. Well, listen, there's 50 states. I can't go one by one. Oregon is a triangular state. There's another one. So you may be thinking, oh, are all West Coast states triangular? No. Washington is not a triangular state. California is not a triangular state. Is Boston a triangular state? Oh, gotcha. Boston is not a state. Boston is a city. The more you know. That's a free fact. It's on me. Now, if you want to know the truth about Idaho, you have to really look within the hoe. The hoe could be a man, it could be a woman, but you have to know the Ida. Okay, Ida. It ties around to Ida. Who is Ida? Well, to understand what Ida is thinking, you really have to go in the depths. Okay, into the depths. Open the ocean. See what's inside. Swim a little. Swimming is healthy. Swimming is recommended. They say you should always swim in the water. You should always swim in Idaho lakes. Are there lakes in Idaho? I don't know. But you gotta swim. You gotta find out. You gotta see what Ida thinks. Does Ida think it's smart? Does Ida think it's a good idea? I don't know. But when you're in Idaho, you gotta be careful, okay? It's not the kind of place you want to bring a minority. Do you have an African American friend? Do you have a Latino friend? Do you have an Asian friend? Then you should probably stay away from Idaho. They only like white people there. It's known for its white supremacy. Now, what is white supremacy? White supremacy has to do with when white people get really into oppression and they try to hurt the non-white people. It's all very, it's all very primitive stuff, and it's not something that most people take too kindly to. Especially people that want a progressive, healthy society do not like white supremacy. Now, a white supremacist today, it's kind of like, whoa, there's two people there. Holy shit. Holy shit. Die. Okay, got it. Oh, okay. Anyway, white supremacy in Idaho, it's a big deal. If you don't believe me, it doesn't matter. I'm not the doctor. I'm just the messenger. And that has to do with what I'm going to say next, which is not all messages are true. Sometimes you have to do your own research. Something I've done my own research on is the Earth. At first, I thought it was round because I'd seen pictures and I had heard from the spaceman that it was a round state. This ended up being a lie. The Earth is actually flat. It's like a pizza. It's round, but it's flat, like a pizza. Where's America on the pizza? Where's Idaho? Well, I'll tell you. Idaho happens to be in the United States of America. If you look at any map, you will understand what I mean. Now, the question is, why are maps not circular if the Earth is shaped like a pizza? Well, I'll tell you. It has to do with space. It has to do with sand. And it has to do with materials available. See, it's much easier to print out a rectangular map because printing presses naturally work in rolls of paper. A roll of paper is circular. The roll itself is a circle, the end of the roll. But when it comes to mapping out things, it's just much easier to use the roll. And when you cut the roll, in a straight line, in a perpendicular line, if I use the word correctly there. Um, Whoa, hey, if you do this, shit. Well, if you do this, then what you'll get is you'll get a rectangular map. Now, a rectangle is nothing to, nothing to yawn at, nothing to spit at. Okay, nothing to sneeze at. A rectangle is a great shape, hell of a shape. It's no circle though. Circle would be what we call in the geography business technically accurate. Now, accuracy is one thing that map makers don't necessarily care much about. They don't care about it when they're making stuff that's entertaining. So there's something called an entertainment map. An electoral college map would be such a map. Because see, on an electoral college map, they typically have Hawaii and Alaska much closer to the mainland United States than the average map does. Yes. Alaska and Hawaii aren't actually a part of the lower 48 as they're called. This means that if you live in Idaho, it would require you to partake in the use of an airplane to get to Alaska. I mean, to get to Hawaii. To get to Alaska, it would require you to possibly take an airplane if you choose, or you could walk, bike, or drive, as it is connected to the lower 48. But you would have to go through the nation of Canada, which is a large nation, and you would have to go pretty far up north. Well, that's a hell of a drive, regardless of where you start. Now let's see if I can kill these motherfuckers. Got one, and my teammate got the other. I've cheated death. Now, death is nothing to sneeze at. Death happens to everybody. But when it comes to Idaho, you want to make sure that you're right with God, because it's a very religious state. And if you're not right with God, your family and your friends and relatives will be concerned for your soul. You don't want your friends to be concerned with your soul. They're your friends. Now, let's get this guy. Oh, let's get that guy. Let's get that guy. Just had to take care. Oh, I got saved by my teammate once again. That's very nice of him. What was I talking about? I was talking about Idaho. Let's talk about healthcare. So Idaho is a conservative state, meaning that if you get cancer, you're really on your own. If you get bit by a snake, you're really on your own. If you get pineapple food poisoning, the government will pay for your healthcare because of the strange case of the pineapple-stricken governor of 1982. You see, the governor of Idaho was so loaded on pineapples. He had 10 a day, after all. He had 10 one day he was feeling adventurous, and he had 15. After his 15th pineapple, the governor felt very ill, and without the funds required to do the quick research required to cure him, he ended up requiring the use of state funds. Now, these state funds are the same funds that fund the roads, the National Guard, and other services that residents of the state use. Even in a conservative state like Idaho, the government still exists after all. So after the use of state money on the governor's health, the state had no choice, and it was decided by the Supreme Court of the United States that they had no choice but to fund all future pineapple-related health care in the state of Idaho. So this isn't something that's exclusive to Idaho. I believe Kenya, which is not a United States state, but it's a nation nonetheless, and they also have state-provided pineapple health care. Now, in Kenya, that's very easy to provide on account of pineapples are straight up illegal in Kenya. Why are pineapples illegal in Kenya? Well, they're illegal in Kenya because the king, after eating one too many pineapples, felt terribly ill, and he himself died. And they spent as much nation money as they could on saving the king, but pineapple just turned out to be too much for him. You can't save them all, but you can try with science. Again, science can be full of lies. As we all know, the pizza-shaped Earth. Whoa. the pizza-shaped Earth has been used by scientists. I mean, hidden by scientists for decades upon decades to sell globes, which are a major funder of grant projects. Now, what does a grant project do? Well, a grant project usually used by universities and professors for research. These grants they get turned into the use of. Their practical value is to create a fake finding, huh? And then the rest of the money goes to promoting it in the media with the money that was quote given to the grant. For example, with cancer, oh, kill, oh, with all sorts of diseases, instead of shit, instead of researching an actual cure, the money goes into propaganda that makes people think that they are unable to heal themselves. Now, this helps the pharmaceutical businesses because then they can sell drugs. And what we all know about drugs is that they're placebos. What is a placebo? A placebo is a fake drug made in Idaho. Why does Idaho produce all the fake drugs? Well, you see, white supremacists are very good at lying. They lie about placebo pills. They give it a special mix of sugar and chemicals and interesting stuff. And they put it into the pill. And anybody who works in a pill factory would tell you this. No, isn't it interesting that you can take a pill and then all of a sudden you'll feel a certain way? Nobody ever questions it. Nobody ever questions that when you drink alcohol, you'll get a little drunk. No, getting drunk is something that has only ever happened in the state of Idaho. When you're out of the state of Idaho, you're merely experiencing something called a placebo. A placebo, again, is a fake sensation based on a false. Have I even explained it the first time? I don't remember. But a placebo is just like you're told a thing will do a certain thing, and then your mind makes it seem like that's actually going on, even when it's not. So they'll give you a thing and they'll say, this will make you feel better. You go, oh, really? And then in the next 5 minutes, you're like, holy shit, I feel really good now. It's like, oh, how did that happen? I really wonder. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about Idaho. Thanks for watching.